It's Monday. Glad to get another week started. I'm getting it started this week with on Mondays. I do a segment on real estate news, just seeing what's going on in the markets, what could possibly impact things in the futures, just all things real estate. This week is kind of interesting. Got a story about the hottest market in the country. I was pretty surprised, but also a story about a story about the senior housing shortage. There's a shortage of housing for there's a shortage of housing all around the board, but there's some areas where it's worse, and senior housing is one of them. And also a story about Zillow. Zillow's doing some pretty big things right now that could really change how transactions happen. So I'll go ahead and get into it. Let's start with the hottest market in America, which is actually in Ohio. And Ohio has been getting a lot of attention these past few days. But Toledo, Ohio, which is not a big it's not a big city. They said it's mid-sized. It has about 200 and I believe 260,000 people, which I'm surprised that's mid-sized, but it is. But anyway, they have won the number one market, hottest market right now. There's a lot of people looking to move to that area that aren't there. One of the main reasons is their average home price is actually $235,000, which I thought was really low. That's about $200,000 lower than the average around the country. So they're doing something right. I don't know what the income is there, so I'm pretty sure it balances out. But that's still really low right now to buy a home. But they won number one based off of things like demand, pace of the market, how quick I guess the transactions happen, things like that. So homes are selling there on average about 37 days on average. That's pretty quick. And like I say, they got a $235,000 average home price. So that is very low. And with everything going on right now, I can see somebody working remote and that making a lot of sense to be able to live pretty quality life. But so the next story is about the senior housing shortage. We're aware of the boomer generation and that they're kind of aging out. They're taking a long time to do it. Our presidents are 70 plus, which they shouldn't be, but either way, the baby boomers are getting to the point where they have to retire. There's not enough housing for them. There's an issue with the available housing that will be there for them. So they are actually making deposits and paying early to lock in places because it's that much of a shortage. And right now, they're saying that with the senior housing shortage, that there's only a 191,000 units expected to be built by 2030, and they need about 500,000. So they're short about 300,000 units of senior housing. So there's a push for that to create more senior housing, but it takes 5 to 6 years to go from locating a property or identifying a property to actually opening a senior housing center, which is a long time. So I don't know what they're gonna do to make that work, but there's a senior housing shortage. That's something that I'm looking into. As far as development, it's maybe something that if you're interested in real estate, you may want to look into that, like investing in senior housing or in housing that seniors can rent out. That because it will be a need. So we're talking about the senior housing shortage right now, and the opportunity exists for people that are in real estate. Yeah. So if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. I appreciate you guys checking it out. And then also we got the Zillow story. So Zillow is actually checking to try to change how transactions happen. Basically, they want every property that's listed on Zillow to have to go through the MLS. And so what that's going to do is make it difficult for FSBOs, for sale by owners, to be able to get visibility on their properties. Essentially, they're saying get down or lay down you got to go through the MLS, which means that you won't be able to sell your property by yourself anymore. So that's something Zillow's doing. They've already got a lot of support from brokerage firms, which of course they're gonna agree because they get a fee from listing the property. But that's something that independent sellers should think about, because when I first got into real estate, I was selling properties as a FSBO, selling it for myself. So you won't be able to sell it for yourself the same way anymore. Zillow's kind of taking that option away. So that's something to really consider. A lot of changes happening with how transactions occur in the marketplace. So, something you want to think about, something you want to kind of chew on, but everything will need to go through the MLS soon. That means every property that needs to be sold will need to go through the MLS. There won't be any more FSBOs. Because you'll have to sign an agreement, even if it's limited, even if it's just at a transactional level, you'll have to sign an agreement to get your stuff on Zillow, which is probably the biggest platform to get visibility on your property. So anyway, those are the top 3 stories that I saw that could affect things in terms of real estate, whatever you got going on in real estate. So if you're not involved, look to get involved with real estate. It's the best wealth builder in existence, above crypto, above gold, above stocks. Make sure that you get into real estate. Markets are changing. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So let's go and seize them. So I appreciate you guys checking this out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. And I'll be back with the next video tomorrow. Thanks, guys.